those Ting commercials. We are getting into game number 1, and this one is a fairly important one. This is a qualifying match here for the Ting Korean qualifier. Hitting this qualifying round pretty quickly. Do want to remind everybody there's a loser's bracket for us to still muddle through, but plenty of games still ahead of us. Spawning here in the top left side of the map, he's going to be the blue Terran player, Samsung Galaxy's Reality.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he's Blaze.
And the question is, what is Reality doing down here, Zombie Grub?
There. So this has been kind of popular. The Proxy Reaper into the one base factory and then starport, whether it's for Liberators, drops, or what have you, is, I guess, up to the gas and up to the Terran.
Yeah. Quick question to answer in chat. Alling asking, what do you have to do to get your Partoof? I've been subbing for 12 months. Send a message here on Twitch, and we'll verify that you've been around for 12 months, and then send you a form to fill out, which then it basically just asks for your address. There's no additional information required, just so we can mail it to you. So please, 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 Alling, send us a message on Twitch, and anyone else who's been around for 12 months or longer, and we'll get you hooked up ASAP. But yeah, unfortunately, I see the also comments in chat like bring Ting to Canada, sad face. I would 100% use Ting over my Telus current plan, like 100%. Ting looks like they got really good offers for people who are, I guess, in my situation, and I imagine in a lot of situations similar to the people tuning in. Just again, helping you cut down on bills where and when you can.
I think in general, it's just kind of the like. And it's on cliche, but like the new age type of thing to do, just to be primarily focused on Wi-Fi.
I'm pissed because my bill right now is like close to $70 a month on my phone. If the Ting average one is really $23, like what the fuck? It's like 3 times less.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we do have the factory follow-up, so we are going to be paying attention to what comes out of there. I mean, there's so many actually different options you can choose from the back of this, because this is something you could do back at home. You know, like you don't necessarily have to proxy, but Prion Terraces has a nice little proxy spot, so kind of like why not?
It's a bit surprising because of how easily a Reaper gets shut down by things like an Adept or Stalker or a Mothership Core, but I guess the situation does call that you can't overcharge as easily as you used to.
No, certainly not. And that's also what I think this is going to abuse. Like we would see this back when there was still 25 energy, and the point is like it would hopefully hit before everything was set up defense wise. But also the follow up.
He's got to repair this though.
Yeah, okay, it'd be nicer if he repaired it. The follow-up of a Cyclone, though, is going to take care of everything. The Mothership Core, if it came across the map, the Stalkers, and of course the Zealots would come across the map, too. And then if you actually get to attack, they're now down 1 Photon Overcharge, or 2 Photon Overcharges, potentially, because of the Reapers.
Okay, so that wall should not have broken, obviously, but Reality was a little bit more focused on trying to get some kills with the Reapers. And I don't blame him, but now that Zealot's getting a lot more kills as well, and the Cyclone, well, it will clean this up. It's still a bit messy. In fact, 4 kills, 4 SCV kills in total. 9 probes killed, though, still good for Reality, so he's not in trouble just yet. But one of the really big things is, despite the Magfield Accelerator, which I want to talk about more in a moment, he's down a base. Blaze actually has a natural base completed.
Yeah, that is always something to keep in mind. Like, that double pumped probe could, bring him back up in the economy lead, but the attack isn't over. So it was only up to a factory, and he's going to put a command center down now as opposed to getting up to that starport, but it is the Cyclone with the upgrade version of this build. So this is like a lot of power. It can tear down pylons, it can tear down stalkers. It's going to provide him basically coverage of the map unless you get a Warp Prism, and then maybe he'll regret having these out in the map like he does.
So to explain the Magfield Accelerator really quick, and I love the use of the barracks here, by the way. It gives an additional 400 damage over that lock-on duration, which means each of these hits is literally double the damage without. So the Cyclones, of course, they need vision, and that's a big part of keeping this barracks alive. It is acting like a bit of an expensive overlord, if you will. Reapers hop back to the main. Looks like they get cleaned up, but they were causing some drones and probes to scatter.
No, he doesn't really want to lose this barracks, but I guess he's gonna sacrifice it. There's a 3rd Cyclone, so it might be worth it.
As we can see, Cyclones, though, don't have a lot of health. They'll get picked up pretty quick. Time warp before the Mothership Core goes down will actually be pretty nice, considering Cyclones are all about their move speed, but keeps that lock on, just barely picks off that Stalker. Magfield Accelerator is like jumping to +3 weapon upgrades right off the bat. So, again, lots of damage each
My
shot.
God.
I can't believe this is working out. I want to do this. I want to go and do this more than Euthermal's Ghost build.
The real like trick here was that barracks though. Like you can see
Yeah.
this and it just takes control, you know? Like they're not going to move out against you, and that is worth 2 or 3 cyclones. But the addition of the barracks and the sacrifice of the barracks too, as it obviously burned down, in this case was worth it thanks to some very key micro. You lose 2 cyclones pretty quickly if they actually start getting targeted. That's why they're already at half health, but he kept them enough alive, and it's just super impressive micro from Reality. He gets the Nexus.
That was... And the best part is, these Cyclones, as expensive as they are, they guarantee there's no kind of counterattack that could possibly come and return this damage. Proxy Immortal wouldn't cut it, Void Rays wouldn't cut it, Oracles wouldn't cut it. Oh man.
This is very cool, and it's going to be interesting to see how Blaze reacts to this. I mean, this is something that you had to deal with back in the very beginning of Legacy of the Void, back when Cyclones were stupidly OP. Dang, five Cyclones.
Okay, this is where you start worrying about this though, because the Cyclones start becoming a bit of a burden with their gas costs and their mineral costs. These are not cheap units to make. Obviously, as we saw, they can do some real wreck 'em and shrek 'em damage though. But it's the fact that Reality's up an entire base that he's able to get away with this for the time being. Let's not forget, the other part of his barracks dying wasn't just denying vision on the other side of the map. It means he couldn't actually build more factories. He couldn't build the tech labs to get STIM started. Like, he was kind of behind, but now catching up and taking a very, very strong lead.
Yeah. Because he still has Cyclones. He still has control on the map. Blaze is finally going to get something that kind of, you know, goes around the Cyclones, just the War Prism. But even then, if the Cyclones aren't out in the middle of the map, if they're back at home, they can obviously, with 5 of them, patrol all of these bases. Even if he took the 3rd,
He's gonna kill that
he'd be able to
Immortal.
get that too. Dang. These Cyclones, like, he doesn't really have a real answer against them.
The scans like this are pretty ridiculous. Just gonna keep letting him lock on. Oh, the War Prism's not something you want to pick things up, and it's also an armored unit. Now, good thing these aren't bugging out like Kelazur had, or else this perhaps wouldn't work the same way it has been. But the effectiveness of getting 3
Jesus.
lockouts immediately kills that mothership core. That's insane.
And now he also saw the War Prism, so he can either bring the Cyclones back, realizing, hey, where'd that War Prism go, or he can just depend on his reinforcements, which is, they're finally coming out. I mean, they got tanks, you got a bunker. It's still a little scary to let the War Prism go. Like, what if they have 5 gateways and they're gonna warp in massively? But there's not 5 gateways, there is 4, and of course the probe count has been replenished back up to 25. Still doesn't mean that those adept warp-ins that we're used to usually come in like 6 or 7 because they're off 2 base, not 1.
I goes for the lockout, and a little bit risky because he knew that these Cyclones were near death. That's why he's bringing back home specifically to repair them.
I don't even think he really needed to get tanks.
I think it was one of those things where, like, what else was he going to do, though? He had a lot of money, and you know, with his barracks being so much later, he had kind of stalled out. The War Prism goes down immediately. With the Marauders, the tanks, and these Cyclones, he's guaranteed to win this fight. GG. Oh, Reality. You sexy bastard.
That was a cool build.